as soon as he left our facilities, they killed him. And he was a link to take us higher the rank as to who would have sent him. But they killed him. So that case almost did not go far. But majority of the cases that the team ended up achieving were cases that of theft and the likes that were happening within RPM. So what will then happen is RPM, if there's a loss of something, that the theft of something, they go to a police station, they go with these detectives. When they arrive at the police station, they open a case of theft. The detective will take this docket and investigate it and arrest, convict. Another theft comes in. So they end up having successes of RPM that's got nothing to do with what they are sent there for. So they became like a police unit for RPM. So as I was monitoring this, and I said to them, your mission was simple. Deal with a few cases, crack them, and then come back. But you are showing me successes of something that unrelated to what you were sent there for. So I cannot be spending money to have you there. Come back with those dockets. You will work from Durban. Durban and Richards Bay, it's an hour-and-a-half drive. So they could investigate while in Durban. So I brought them back. Little did I know, Commissioner, that this RPM has got contacts in a high level of our country, of our government. Because what followed after that was a call that I received from my boss, the National Commission, who said to me, but I hear that you had deployed people in Richards Bay and you withdrew them. I said, yes, I deployed them there for a mission. They didn't achieve the mission. A year later, I brought them back and they are still carrying those investigations, but from my office. Then he said, no, I received a complaint from the presidency. You must send these people back there. So I said, okay, well, I don't mind to send them back, but you must give me the budget because I don't have money to send people back there. Then he said, no, put up a plan. I'm going to finance it. Then they said, okay, that's fine. And I told my deputy to prepare a plan. Now my approach, commissioners, was that I'm no longer going to be sending people, these 5 members, to investigate the 5 cases from RPM. I'm now going to put a bigger team that is going to deploy in this area and service other business people as well as a community in that area. So I must have a bigger team because there's drugs in there, there's hijackings and many other crimes that are happening. And RPM is not the only one that is affected. So while I'm preparing that plan, which the National Commission confirmed that the CFO is going to make money available for that. While I'm preparing that plan, I then I received a phone call from a commander of the Special Task Force at the time, Brigadier Gaffney. I had said earlier I worked in the task force. So task force members and myself, we communicate. Most of them have got my numbers, so they call me anytime. Brigadier Gaffney calls me and he is at RPM. And he says to me, Gerald, I'm here deployed at RPM. So when I ask him, what do you mean you deployed at RPM? RPM as the company mine? And he said, yes. So I asked him, but who's there? He said, no, it's myself and the NIU. Task Force and NIU are the fighting squad of the police. They're not investigators. They are the ones that do the dirty work. If we have to arrest someone, if to penetrate houses, they do that. They don't go and present cases in court. It's not their job. But they found themselves deployed in RPM. And he says to me, Gerald, I'm told that there were detectives that were deployed here that you withdrew. Can you have those detectives back here? So, because there must be investigation done, and I don't have anyone who does investigation. So I said to him, no, I think you need to come and see me. So he drove down to Durban. When he arrived in Durban, and I asked him, but who deployed you there? He said, no, I was deployed by my component head, General Zulu, who was a major general. She deployed us to come and work here, and I asked, so where are you deployed to? The entire area or RPM only? He said, no, RPM strictly. Our instruction is that you go to RPM, you don't work anywhere else. I was upset, of course, because I had planned, according to National Commission, I'm going to deploy. So I phoned my boss, I said, you are telling me about the deployment RPM at the same time you're telling someone else. What's going on? And he said, no, I think we need to engage with Jar Musigidi, who's a deputy National Commissioner. And so I then decided to keep quiet. I released these detectives to Brigadier, and that makes me realize that I cannot just sit back and allow the irregularities that were happening in 2011 when I was the acting national commissioner to repeat itself, because it's going to become a culture, it's going to be embedded in how the justice system works in this country. Therefore, the citizens are not going to be safe. I've seen it in 2011 and it's happening again. As I said, commissioners, when you look at my profile that I presented on the first day, that I joined the top management structure of the South African Police Service in 2011 when I was appointed as an acting national commissioner, appointed by President Zuma at the time. I must indicate that when I was appointed, the person that was the Minister of Police was Minister Natim Ted. He was the Minister of Police. At that time when I was appointed, the South African Police Service were always in the media regarding the activities at crime intelligence. Lieutenant General Mdluli was in the center of that. So there were two matters that were always in the media. Was about the death of a murder incident that happened in Vosloorus, as well as the corruption within crime intelligence secret fund account. I think that's where the name /fund came from. The secret fund account that I spoke about earlier that must be accounted for the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. It was misused. When I came in, there was already, General Mdluli was already suspended. And he was suspended by General Cele at the time. That suspension was regarding the murder incident that happened in Vosloorus. When I came in and I asked the management about the status of the criminal case that I'm told is registered against General Mdluli, which involves corruption of crime intelligence secret fund account, I was informed that there was no disciplinary steps initiated yet at the time. So I directed that we must initiate the disciplinary steps against the second charge, which is corruption. I brought General Mdluli to brief him about it, and I appointed an investigating team to investigate, and the concluded investigation, we are about to subject General Mdluli to a disciplinary hearing. And then General Mdluli, to my surprise, then contacts me and he says to me, his criminal case that is going to appear in the Commercial Crime Court in Pretoria is going to be withdrawn the following day. So I was perplexed and I said, but Jared Dramat, as the head of the Hawks, do you know about this? And he said, no, he's not aware. And indeed, commissioners, when the matter appeared in court, the matter was withdrawn. So I demanded to know the reasons for that. They finished me with a submission that was made by the Deputy National Head of NPA at the time, Advocate Mkhwebi, where he gave the instruction to Advocate Mzinyat, who was responsible for that case, and Advocate Mzinyat then directed a prosecutor who was working on the docket, Advocate Bredenbach, who's a member of parliament, to withdraw the case. So the case was withdrawn, simply because of Advocate Mkhwebi, regardless of evidence. But the reasons Mkhwebi put on his letter was that the arrest of Mdluli, or this case being placed on the roll, it is not the responsibility of the ACPS, but it is the responsibility of the Inspector General of Intelligence. I explained earlier, commissioners, that crime will happen. If crime happens within the secret fund account, there must be audit, there must be accountability, and then the case must follow, which must be handled with care, but the case will follow. So similar to what is happening now, if there is any corruption within crime intelligence, that matter must be reported to the right structures and cases must follow thereafter. So at the time, the coordination of the information coming from crime intelligence to be given to an investigation team was facilitated by a senior officer within crime intelligence on an arrangement with DPCI. So the investigation was done correctly. But here's a case withdrawn and citing the reason that the Inspector General of Intelligence is the one who's got a jurisdiction on this matter. So I took the case docket from court, and I stopped the disciplinary matter. I channeled both of them to the Inspector General of Intelligence. The Inspector General of Intelligence is a late advocate, Hadebe. She worked with an advocate that is currently, or is not within Inspector General now, but she's practicing. I gave both of them the letters in these cases, departmental and criminal. And I received a response from Advocate Hadebe, the Inspector General, on a disciplinary matter, where he says, charge the CFO, was Major General Lazarus at the time, charge the CFO and not Mdluli, because it's a CFO that knows how to manage the secret fund account, and he used that to benefit Mdluli. Mdluli didn't know anything about it. So Mdluli is clear. So this is in black and white I received. But I then said, I told Mdluli and the minister at the time that, yeah, the Inspector General is saying this, but I'm not going to implement this because I want a response on the criminal matter. Imagine me uplifting Mdluli's suspension, he comes to work, and the very same Inspector General says I must take the case docket back to court and Mdluli must go and face a criminal case while he's back at work. It's going to look bad for me, not good governance. So I said, I'm going to wait until I get the second response. The second response came on the phone call. Inspector General said, please come, bring that letter I gave you because I want to withdraw it. So my question was, why do you want to withdraw? And she says, no, we have studied the case docket, and the reason advanced by the National Director of Public Prosecution is misplaced. We as Inspector General are not responsible for criminal investigation, but our investigation results into us producing reports to Parliament, Joint Standing Committee, not to take it to court. So this case, Mdluli must go and answer in court. So I gave her that letter. She withdrew it, and she wrote me a new letter to say Mdluli must go and face his music in court. So I then said to Judge Drama, DPCI, send the case back to court. And I called Advocate Jiba. Nomzobo Jiba was the acting national director at the time of prosecution. And I informed her, I said, your deputy withdrew this case in court. I want you to now attend to it because you are the head of the MPA. And she said she's in China at the time, I must send it back to Mkhwebe. And then I told the disciplinary team that continue with the disciplinary case on Mkhwebe. But now to my surprise, commissioners, that Advocate Mkhwebe wrote a second letter. And he said, I'm the National Prosecution Authority, we're working independently. I've taken a decision on this matter, therefore it's final, closed. That's how that case of Jaram Mdluli died, by the signature of Advocate Mkhwebe at the highest office of the MPA. So he killed that case like that. I'm glad now it's resurfacing against that corruption case. But it should have been dealt with then. But we had the players of Advocate Mkhwebe in the highest office of the prosecution who decided, don't charge Mdluli. As I said, commissioners, when you do something that is bizarre, you make me to start asking questions. So I started asking questions as to why is this behavior? So as I was digging more, I started seeing a different picture, which maybe I might reflect to later. But the details of this thing I'm talking about is in the affidavit that I deposited at Zondo Commission. Feel free, is annexed, I think here, SC.
MK22, General.
Yeah, MK22. You'll be able to read it because it's got detail. It's quite a lengthy affidavit that I deposited about my experience at Crime Intelligence in 2011 to 2012 when I was acting, and how the secret fund account was misused by the players within Crime Intelligence that are still there today, that are fighting Khumalo today. They were there then, they are still there today. So there's never been any cleansing of Crime Intelligence, which is something the commissions, I would want you to pay attention to it. But this issue of Mkhwebe to suddenly shut down the criminal investigation, which was a concern to me, and while we are continuing with the departmental matter, after having received this letter from advocate to say Mdluli must go to court, I received a phone call from the same Inspector General of Intelligence when I was driving home. She said, I must come back and bring back that decision, the final decision she made about the criminal case, because she has risked her career with making that decision of saying Mdluli must be charged. She wants to withdraw that letter. So when I asked her, but why you want to withdraw the letter of a criminal case? You've read the case and you wrote to me and you say, Zulu must go and face the music. Why do you want to withdraw it? And she said, no. It's my career now in line. So I need to withdraw that. I made a wrong decision. I should not have said Zulu must be charged. Which means she touched the wrong people in a higher echelon of maybe within the police structures or in government that did not want Zulu to be charged. And I refused to come back and withdraw the letter. And then I received a phone call from the Minister of Police, Natim Ted, commissioners. I went to his residence in Waterkloof. And when I arrived there, the Inspector General was sitting on one side of the table, Mr. Mteto was sitting on the other side of the table. The minister says to me that I forced the Inspector General of Intelligence to write the letter that says, Mukwebi is wrong, this matter must go to court. She said, I forced it. Then I told her, I said, no, Minister, Advocate Khadev is an old woman. She's an advocate. How can I point a gun at her and force her to write it? Besides, when this letter was written in an office, and she actually is not the author of the letter. The author of the letter is Advocate J. Governor, who is an experienced prosecutor person who's working in that office. She's the one that drafted the letter. Not you, not the Inspector General of Justice. The minister didn't want to hear any of that. A simple say, you must stop prosecuting Zuli, you must stop disciplinary case against me. Now, if you talk about political interference, that was the worst I've ever experienced. At that time, Commissioner, I come from the specialized operation. The only thing I know is to chase criminals. And I'm promoted to become the acting National Commissioner, and I'm confronted with this in front of me. And I said, but this is not what I signed for when I joined the police. This can't be right. The minister can't give me these instructions. Then I said to the minister, maybe you brought me to this position and you thought you were going to use me as a pawn because perhaps of my age or whatever, but you are wrong. I'm not going to do that. If you want me to stop charging Zulu, you must put it in black and white. And then the minister said, no, Inspector General must give something in writing to the National Commission to stop this investigation. Inspector General said, no, come with me to my office so I can give you a letter.
In the light of Mr. Mfoebi's final decision,
in abbreviation, Jen, this must be in your chest. So which means he wanted me to keep this secret. And I'm wondering now, why is he telling me if he doesn't want me this thing to go public? And then my response, of course, because I wanted him to get me information, I said, trust me on this one. And then he wrote a message, which followed at the bottom of 318, which reads, I'm going to read it on the record. You are having your interest, and that maybe you are having your own cattle. You don't listen to the CI, that is crime intelligence. Then Masimula intercepted him. So, which means General Masimula was in that meeting as well. Also spoke about your provincial crime intelligence member. Remember, he is retiring. I think there's message missing there. He's retiring next month. And if we move to 319,
can you please, in your own words, explain what the first part of this text means, starting from you are having right up to intercepted him? It's rather cryptic.
At the time, my understanding is that he's telling me that what was discussed in a meeting, which he sent me a screenshot on, the one that talks about crime intelligence policies, they were discussing me, about me not wanting to cooperate and working well with the head of crime intelligence in KZN. So that was my conclusion, that he was saying that I don't want to cooperate with them on information that they are giving me. I don't want to operationalize such an information. And that's why he even knows that the head of crime intelligence in KZN is going on retirement. So this is a person who knows everything about the police, even knows when is a person retiring.
Thank you, you may continue.
Yeah. So and then the following message on the next page, 319, I then asked him that please get me that presentation if there is one to confirm or otherwise if there is any recordings. Because I wanted to get a proof that what was this presentation about that he has access to that I don't know. The response from him, what made me start connecting the dots. Remember we spoke about investigation and pictures starting to match. His response was nothing. General Khan will brief you next week. Now, Commissioner, I want to put on record that I only know one General Khan within crime intelligence. He's a Major General Khan that was on the news not long ago. Some of the colleagues will know about the attendance of the EFF celebration last year, as well as the case that was alleged that Khan was involved in stopping the police when they were busy with operation, drug operation at Eratin in Johannesburg. When he sent me this, I then concluded that means General Khan is in that meeting. It is General Khan most likely that is feeding him with the information. That was my conclusion. Why would he choose General Khan to brief me if I ask for a presentation? But again, I don't have proof of it. It is him that is writing this message. But I guess with the investigation, we're going to see linkages about all these people within the police. And my response was, sure. And then he sent another one to say back in Joburg, and after that followed by phone calls, and there's many other communication that followed thereafter. I don't have to read all of them, Commissioners, as you can see that are following on those attachments. And as I said, General Khan has been on the news. He's a component head within crime intelligence. General Khan, when he sends me this message, General Khan was appointed, his post that he's occupying as a component head at crime intelligence is an operational intelligence support within crime intelligence. But he was appointed acting as a component head of counter and security intelligence. When Kumalo arrived at crime intelligence, that was a position that General Khan was acting on. So Kumalo, I understand, he had moved him back into his old position. Counterintelligence, if I can indicate, Commissioner, is that the vetting is done at counterintelligence. Majority of operations like this drug cartel operation that is holding counterintelligence investigation, it's conducted in that office. So meaning it's a person who, it's an office that really is in the heart of intelligence operations. General Khan was acting there. General Khan has since been moved back into his technical support. I'm not saying that General Khan is involved in these leakages of information to the members of parliament and to the other people, but what is interesting is that almost everything that we see happening in parliament, in the media, comes from that component of crime intelligence. And this is where the real fight comes from. The operation of Gauteng counterintelligence that involves this drug cartel is in that component. So, and this is Mohoti that introduces Khan to me. I said, Commissioners, I'm going to reflect to what happened in 2011, later in my statements. Crime intelligence, modus operandi back then, and players that were involved back then with the looting on the money and the irregularities, they still exist at crime intelligence today, and some of them are occupying high position. So there has no reforms that has been implemented at crime intelligence. That's why it's no surprise when you start seeing things coming out. Like I said on record, I did not say that General Khan has leaked any information. It is Mohoti that introduces Khan. I only know of one Khan at crime intelligence. So perhaps as we investigate further, we'll be able to see whether there's any leakages between these people. That information that supposed to be within the confines of those four walls where the meeting was taking place ended up with Mohoti.